So I was kind of thinking about knowledge as a superpower, if you will. Like if you had all knowledge, complete perfect knowledge, like surely business, you could do like amazing, interesting, like the best, most profitable things in business, right? If you had all knowledge, if you knew everything. And it's very interesting where we're at right now in history because the access to general information is so ubiquitous. I mean, all of us are one electronic device away from knowing, I don't know, like 80, 90% of the world's knowledge we can access for free with any device, basically. I mean, it is crazy the amount of information that we have for free available to us all the time. Just insane. But here's the thing. People are still paying a lot of money to learn things. And there's a couple things going on. One is, but the big thing that I want to point out basically is that there's a big difference between general knowledge and specific knowledge. So specific knowledge, so general knowledge is like, you Google something on how to, okay, let's say how to pour concrete. Okay. You can get lots of general information on how to pour concrete. Now, what none of those articles are going to tell you, or not likely going to tell you, is if you're building a completely unique structure in your backyard in completely unique or very unique soil conditions, and you're butting up this structure to a very unique other structure, and you have unique code requirements. You're probably not going to find an article anywhere on the internet that's going to address all of those at once and tell you exactly what you should do. I think back to one of my clients paid to have me work with a consultant, a training consulting company. And what was so interesting about that was one of the most helpful things from that engagement was the certainty that they brought to what we were doing. So in that case, we were doing e-commerce, we were doing advertising e-commerce, and it's a lot different when you're working from the standpoint of like, I don't know if there's maybe a way better way out there to do this and I'm just not finding it, or if this is the best there is. And so the specific knowledge that consulting company brought helped us to realize and to know that, basically for the well-established parameters, for the typical what you expect to see in e-commerce, we're doing really well. And of course, there were some problems, there were some challenges, there pretty much always are, but relative to our specific product and how everything worked out. But in general, though, the big thing we got from them was confidence and certainty that we were on the right track. Our results were in line with what a person would expect, and we were doing a good job. And did we get some information that helped us to go to the next level? I think so. But it was just interesting that the confidence and the certainty that we got from it was in some ways the most valuable part of it. And it helped give us the confidence to go up to the next level and add spend and continue to scale the company and so forth. I think of another instance of specific information was I was at a e-commerce marketing conference, and I had the opportunity to sit across from a guy who runs an agency. And when they did they had people sit down once you reached a certain threshold of like money that you spend on credit cards on ad campaigns or something like this. So anyway, or maybe it was in millions of dollars of ad spend for the year, something like that. Anyway, this dude, he was one of the last people standing in the room. So there was a lot of money that his agency was spending. And so I asked him, I said, hey, we have XYZ situation with here's where our marketing is at. What's the next thing we need to do, basically? What's the thing that's missing? And he was like, well, are you doing this or that? And I'm like, no. He's like, hey, that's what you need to do. Do XYZ. And at least that's kind of how I remember the conversation going. He's like, okay, you need to do XYZ. And it was like a very simple thing. And we started doing it. And it has been an absolute, like, part of the backbone of the business since we implemented that in a real good regular fashion. And it's just another example of like specific information. So for instance, if I would have Googled how to improve XYZ metric, I might have gotten all these general responses on Google on how to improve that metric or how to improve. Let's say I would have said how to improve profitability in e-commerce. Okay, I would have gotten how many answers? Improve your ad creative, improve your landing pages so your conversion rate is higher, reduce your cost of shipping, bundle products, send out regular emails to your existing customer base, run sales, do A/B testing. I mean, the list of things you could do to be more profitable is a very long one. But this gentleman, he knew the fundamentals extremely well. He had a lot of experience, and he could say, based on a few data points about the business that I was working with, he knew probably what the biggest thing was that we need to do next. And so that's another beautiful thing about specific information too that's really important, is like, well, what do I do next? Because if it's like getting advice on something to do, like right advice, wrong time is wrong advice. And so that's the other thing about specific information. So it's just fascinating to me kind of how ubiquitous, how widely available, like so much of the world's information is, and yet how valuable specific information, specific knowledge is. And even kind of going over into that area of like judgment that comes from deep, specific, detailed knowledge, or broad knowledge but very specific knowledge. In other words, judgment that comes from what we generally call experience, which is essentially knowledge over time from various quality data points, and then the ability to use good reasoning and have experience with how to go from point A to point B, we could say is good judgment, right? And so good judgment is still very valuable, perhaps the most valuable thing. It may be a big reason why CEOs and top dogs get paid a lot of money is because they're supposed to have good judgment. And good judgment can make all the difference in running your company. So anyway, is knowledge a superpower? It can be. The right kind of knowledge, specific, accurate, good knowledge, can make an amazing difference when it comes to growing your business.